fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah, it's whatever.
Whatever.
Business comes and goes.
Exactly. All right. How do I start these? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of This Life, a podcast by America Media. I'm your host, Felix. I am sitting with
Jesus Salazar. Nice to meet you guys.
Salazar. So this is the first time we've actually ever met. I'm just going to get it started.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do the intros again. I don't know. So before we start, actually, full disclosure, I haven't done one of these because I was kind of focusing on my business more, but also it's getting hotter. I don't have AC in my office, and it's kind of uncomfortable to have people take time out of their day and sit in a hot ass room. Like right now, it's a little warm. I get hot easy too. So we're trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out, we're trying to put a door, and there's so many different moving things right now. My office is kind of a mess. Excuse me. So I haven't done one of these in a while, but I'm going to try to bank some and then release some. So yeah, those of you listening that have been waiting, thank you so much. And to the new listeners, this is This Life. It's about mental health. It's about how it revolves around life. I've dealt with, I live with depression, anxiety, comes and goes, and it never really leaves. So I want a platform where I can speak to that and speak about it and speak to other people that might have the same situation or might be in the same situation as myself. Not that everyone's depressed, but I asked Jesus here because he lives in Escondido, right? You live in Escondido? Are you from Escondido?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised Escondido, just like myself. Does videography. Seems like just a jack of all trades. You were on another podcast.
Yeah.
In the Frame, it's called?
In the Frame podcast, yeah. It's a good friend of mine's.
So I was listening to it. We're just trying to figure out how we kind of found each other.
Yeah.
On social media, but I didn't really figure it out.
I don't know, man. Honestly, yeah. At this point, what I do for me personally is like every time I post a video, I post as many hashtags as I can, searchable hashtags, so that way if people follow a certain hashtag or they come across it or anything like that, my video will probably come up. Yeah. And people can determine whether they like it or not, whether they want to follow, this and that. Right. So maybe through that way.
I think, I think we shot something for someone I know. I'm sure something happened. I don't know. And then I always get excited too when I'm like, oh my God, Escondido based, and I love seeing my people win.
Yeah.
So I saw that, and then I heard you on the podcast, and you said something that kind of stuck out to me. Actually, I almost forgot. Before we get into that, let's put a pin in it. Something I like to do with my guests is put them in the hot seat.
Yeah, talk to me.
It's already hot as hell right now. I'm gonna make you even hotter.
For the record, it's not really that hot, man. I'm actually really good.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm actually really good.
Bro, I'm dying. I've been in here all afternoon. I'm just like my pits are. It's so bad. I run hot.
I can smell it, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I even have deodorant in there just in case.
I'm kidding.
It just gets so hot. Anyway.
No, go for it.
Well, I'm glad you're not super. I can feel like drops on my back.
I'm chilling, dude. I'm chilling. I'm cozy. I'm good.
Okay. So I'm gonna put you in the hot seat.
Talk to me.
Pretty much what it is I'm just gonna throw questions at you, and I didn't even warn you about this. It's just something I do. It's something I do because rather than jump into the episode and be like, this is the person I'm interviewing, this is what they're saying, blah blah blah. They kind of get to know you. Like little quirky stuff
by the answers you give out to these questions. Yeah, let's do
exactly.
Let's
all right, hot seat. Here we go.
Talk to me.
Night in or night out?
Night in.
Hard alcohol or beer or other?
It depends on the night. Depends on the night, really. I prefer alcohol because it's not as detrimental to your body. I'm a big advocate working out, so beer is actually really bad because it's a lot of carbs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it just depends on the night.
When do you do beer?
When it's a chill day, like a Friday, and you're not trying to get too fucked up. Like during the day, not too much alcohol, because you're still trying to work and be productive and stuff.
There you go.
Alcohol at night when you're like, it's the end of the night, you're trying to get trashed, party, whatever.
Hard alcohol.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Pizza or burgers?
Burgers, for sure.
Who's your greatest influence?
Top of the head, Drake.
For real?
Yeah.
Drake, the artist.
The artist.
Why
yeah.
is that?
I don't know, the way he changed the game, the way he changed his perspective on him. When he came out to the scene, he was like this lover boy and simp guy, always putting out love songs, and now he's the hottest artist in the world, you know. So
I
kind of respect that.
I'm a huge Drake fan.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I love Drake.
Yeah.
I saw him Summer 16, I think.
Oh, nice.
Was the jeez
With Future?
with Future? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Future, but his like, I remember he had this like crane and he went over the crowd and was singing Hold On, We're Going Home.
Oh,
And I just, dude, I was like, oh my God. Dude, I was like a fangirling. Dude, Drake. And then you like pointed up to our section. I was like, oh my God, he's pointing at me. That was tight.
Locked eyes.
Yeah, dude, for
That's
sure.
funny.
You said Felix, I think, one time. What's something you wish you would have done sooner?
Man. Probably. Shit, I don't know.
You like how it went from pizza or burgers to your biggest fear?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Probably traveled sooner. I don't know. Yeah, travel.
Yeah. How old are you?
22.
You're 22?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
I thought you were older.
Nah. I
Wow.
get that a lot.
Are you an old soul, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, where was I? Oh, what's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is not leaving a legacy.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
I think I have thought about it, but I've never thought about that. That's a
Mhm.
good one.
Mhm.
What kind of legacy would you leave?
Something big, man. I think about, like, when I really thought about this, I thought about Kobe, and when he died, the whole world felt it, you know.
That's true.
So when he died, everybody was like, whether they were in, you know, angry at work or really happy or anything like that, they kind of just took a moment. They're like, whoa. you
Yeah.
know? Like, that really happened.
Even if you weren't like a big basketball fan.
Yeah, and I wasn't a basketball fan at all. I read a book called Relentless, and that's how I learned about him. Now I kind of started watching him like play a little bit, like highlights and stuff. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, even if he plays athlete, like even if he's an athlete, that can apply to anything else that you do. So, I guess one of my biggest fears is like when I die, no one show up to my funeral. I guess that's the biggest fear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Something you'd like to master.
24 hours in a day.
Bro, you're too deep for this podcast. I was expecting like piano.
Piano?
That's
Nah,
the one I
man.
always say. I'd like to learn piano. You would like to master 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Explain that.
When you wake up, your mind and your body goes to work, so you have to maximize the amount of time that you have. Time is the only asset that you don't get back. That and family. So you just have to maximize it.
This is a great way to come back, dude. Thank you.
I got you.
That's freaking awesome. What is your daily motivation?
Really selfish answers like money. Other motivations is like the people around me, like my family, people that like that depend on me.
Honestly, that money one isn't. I mean, we live in a capitalistic society.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's hard
for sure.
not to. Even if you hate your job, you go to your job to what? Make money.
Make money, yeah.
And I feel like that's so looked down on, and you're like, I'm just, money kind of gets you things and gets you places, and
Yep.
that's nothing to. I don't think that's anything to think poorly on.
Yeah, no, of course.
What's something that brings you down?
Brings me down, like in one sense. Like it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Like, does a client ever say, you know what, no, I'm good, and then you're like, damn it, or I don't know, so, like an instance like that. It doesn't have to be something like
Maybe
cancer or something.
maybe like lost opportunity or something. But you kind of rewire your brain to think that as like it wasn't meant to be, or like there's always next shot, or you saved yourself time by not entertaining that, like a client or something like that, and then you can move on to the next one. The next one ends up being better. What brings me down is probably, I don't know, man, just lost opportunity, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take a hit.
That's true. When you're feeling blue, it doesn't really seem like you're ever blue, but when you're feeling blue, what do? That rhymes.
When I feel blue, I listen to sad music. So if I'm gonna feel something,
dwell in it.
yeah, if I'm gonna feel something, I'm gonna feel it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm really sad, like say someone just broke up with me, or I'm really sad, I'm gonna listen to sad music. I'm gonna really feel it. I'm gonna address why that happened and why I'm feeling this way. Once you recognize it, then there's no excuse to bounce back. You know?
That's true.
That's what I do. And it works. It works for me at least.
Excuse me. I've actually talked about that where sometimes you just got to take a day off.
Yeah.
And you got to be like, you know what? I'm going to be sad today. I've been doing that more. It makes me sound like I'm lazy. But like sometimes you just want to take the day off and do something else.
Yeah.
Like be sad and garden or something. I've been really into gardening lately.
Yeah.
Or like fix something up, or I don't know, kind of take yourself away from what's quote unquote important, like your job.
Yeah.
And make something else important.
Mm-hmm.
Or just sit and cry. Top 3 biggest pet peeves.
When someone is unproductive with their time, or let me rephrase that, when someone is unproductive with their time and takes that from me, when they're trying to like kind of drag out this, because when they have nothing going on in life and they try to like bring me down with them, that's a pet peeve. When someone doesn't have life goals, and when someone is like toxic, those are big pet peeves for me.
Those are good.
Yeah,
I agree. What were you like when you were younger?
Dude, I was shy, I was timid, I was unconfident, I was skinnier for sure. I think I'm still pretty skinny, but I was skinnier. But I was still fun. I was still goofy as little kid, you know.
Yeah. That says a lot that you like answer that like that.
Well, yeah. That's part of growing up.
Yeah.
Realizing it and all that stuff.
Sorry.
I like these questions, man. They're really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. Quality that you love about yourself.
I guess being consistent. Once you consistent in something that you set your mind to, whether it's working out or dieting or working, then it brings a big change in your life. And I think I'm pretty consistent.
Do you think you get almost obsessed with little things like that?
With being consistent?
Yeah. Like when you find something, you like hone in on it, and then it's like I have to do it. Yeah,
for me that's working out. I have to work out 4 days a week, or else I feel like, you know, lazy piece of shit or not. I just feel really bad, you know. And your body too, just kind of. Yeah, your body tells you, you're like, hey asshole, get back to work, and you're like, fuck, all right, I'll go on a Sunday, you know. Yeah, you're like bloated all day. And you're like, why am I bloated? Yeah. Yeah. So one big thing for me is like, no matter what I do in my life, I'm always gonna work out, and I think I'm always gonna stay fit. Doesn't matter if I'm not making videos or if I'm not selling houses. Like one thing I'm always gonna do is work out, because that's one thing you can't control, you know. That's very true. Mm-hmm. That's yeah. And also going back to the mental health thing, when you work out, I think people just say, oh, work out and you'll get the endorphins. Mm-hmm. I used to like do the whole 24-hour fitness thing, and I hated it. It made me even sadder. Oh yeah. And like when I was like in, I don't know, a depressive stint, I would just like sit in my car like, I don't want to do this, and then I would just be going through the motions, and because I didn't really have that like drive or purpose. Yeah. Whereas now it's like I go here. Yeah. And I'm a CrossFit douchebag now. And like I kind of have that consistency because I'm like, oh, if I go to the 8 a.m. class, I'm going to see so-and-so and so-and-so. Yeah. And they're going to keep me accountable. Accountability, yeah. Exactly. And like you kind of have that purpose and drive. I kind of hate when people say, oh, you're feeling sad? Go work out. Go on a jog. It doesn't work for everyone. Yeah. You got to have like that consistency and that kind of like that drive and purpose. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, of course. One thing you're trying to change for the better. Oh man, I guess being more empathetic, because like you said, now that you say that, like when people are sad, I'm like, oh, just go to the gym or just do this. I used to be one of those guys, like, you know, I'm like, hey, just do this and it'll make you feel better. But like, you're right, it doesn't work for everybody. Yeah. So just being more empathetic to the way people learn and grow, everyone's not like me, everyone's not like you, everybody's different, you know. Everybody has their different ways of growing and learning and stuff like that. So just being more empathetic towards that and not being so, I guess hard on people, I guess you could say.
It's like someone goes up to you and they go, "Oh, I'm sad," and you go, "Oh, don't be sad."
Just look out.
And they're like, "I'm cured."
Yeah.
I used to be like that too.
Yeah, understanding people. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Are you where you thought you'd be at this moment in life? That's the last question.
Hell no, man. I was at my mom's house today, and I was like cooking with her because she's a really good cook. You know, I think all moms are really good cooks. But I was just thinking about it. I was not the same person I was last year, because I don't know if you have Snapchat, but you get those memories on your phone like 1 year ago today.
Yep.
And I saw that, and I remember recording that at the mindset that I was at that time. I was like, I'm way different.
Yeah.
After moving out, after doing all the things that I've done, and you know, everything, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I'm not where, I thought I was gonna be, but I'm definitely grateful for it. And yeah, maybe next year is a completely different story, you know.
Can I ask you what the Snapchat was, or is it personal?
No. It was I was at my valet job, and it was when the protests were going on. So I remember I shot a video, and what I always do is I record my video on my phone, so that way if I'm sleeping, or like if I'm gonna go to bed, or if I'm waking up in the morning, I could always see it without opening my computer. I could just see it on my phone, see the progress, and kind of add stuff to it in my head.
Yeah.
When I get to my computer, I can, you know, then fully add it. So I recorded that, and I watched that, and then I also recorded, I was working downtown as a valet, and I remember there was like protests going on like down the street, so I recorded like the whole crowd walking. And I remember like in that mindset that I was last year, I was just a little kid, you know. I was like making fun of every little thing, and I just wasn't, I thought I was mature, but I just wasn't as mature as I am now, for sure. But it was just kind of interesting to see, and so yeah, it was cool.
That's damn. Mm-hmm. That was the hot seat.
And also that video was for free. It was for fun.
Yeah.
It was for fun. So now I'm doing like way more paid stuff, and
yeah.
Back then I was making like $100 a video, and now I'm making like way more.
Yeah. You're a man of many talents, many hats. I don't think I've ever seen. I'm sure there are people out there like you, but or maybe not. Probably not. I don't think I've ever seen someone. When you're, I've done this myself for about like professionally, where I get paid and like this is my job. Yeah. About 2 years. But that's I've been doing it for I think 4. I started with photography, but you kind of start seeing the trends after a while, and you're like, okay, real estate agents now want their face in the videos. They don't just want, you know, houses and stuff. Yeah. And I feel like if you haven't mastered that, you're on your way to mastering it. Mm-hmm. And you have like just this conglomerate of like content, and you do content for people, and you also know, since you do it for other people, you know how to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
How do you intertwine the video and the real estate side to like help you out? Or in your favor?
Yeah. Well, I actually, before I did videos for people, I did it for myself. So I would record videos, I'd put a camera like this, and I would just talk to it and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. This is the update, or this is the info.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Like that?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, not as corny, but I'd be like, hey, what's up, guys? Today's tip of the day is blah, 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 blah. And then I would edit and add all these texts and animations and stuff. And then that's how I learned to do it for people, because they would see my stuff, and then I would just promote myself as a videographer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
How'd you actually start?
With the real estate. I started with real estate. I became a realtor at like 20 years old, 2 years ago. And I saw all these realtors posting like corny ass photos that they pull from like Pinterest or something like that. Yeah. House goals, and I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
Or straight from Zillow, they'll do like the
like really, really cheesy, really corny stuff, and I'm like, now I want to do something different. And obviously I'm young, you know, I can really portray something different. So I started recording houses that I would just do open houses for. They weren't even my listings. I would just, you know, hit up other agents, and they would let me open their house. and I just would take my phone there. I would do like a quick video, then I would take it back to my computer. I would just edit it, throw some music on there that I would listen to at the time, really groovy stuff or whatever. And then that's how I started doing it. And then I would then record videos on my own. I would get it to a DSLR, and then after a while I started getting pretty good at it from my own stuff. So then I was like, real estate's kind of getting a little bit boring. Let me try my hand at like music videos or, you know, other things.
Yeah.
So I started hitting up my friends. I'm like, hey, let me do a skate video for you. Let me do a music video for you. Like, as much as you want to pay me like $100, cool. And they'd be like, yeah, let's do it. At that time, like, it was a big investment for them, but it was like also a pretty big deal for me. So and that taught me how to like put it down, turnaround time, customer service, all that stuff.
Yep.
And then yeah, that's how I started. And then slowly but surely, it wasn't really like a big deal. It was more so like, yeah, I'm kind of good at this. I'm also doing my real estate stuff, so I need to focus on both. And it wasn't until I moved out last year in August that I just moved out. I'm kind of like let me do this and then I'll figure it out as I'm going.
Right.
So I did it. I moved out, and then I was like, oh shit, I need to pay the bills. I quit my job too. I was like, oh fuck, I need to pay the bills. Like, how am I gonna do it? And then I started marketing myself more as a videographer, and that's how I started getting more jobs. At that point, like, because I was like a videographer for a year and working on my own videos and stuff, I kind of knew how to get around, so I would just promote myself. And so I'd get a job here, a job there, 200, 300, 400, you know, and then like slowly stacked up. I barely paid my rent like each month. I was like, fuck.
Damn.
And
but
so,
you did it.
Yeah, I saved up money too when I was living at my parents, and it wasn't like I was gonna, you know, not pay my rent, but it was like that kind of like pushed me to take him a little bit more seriously. And then I guess that's where I got me now. So then now, fast forward like a year, I'm with a new team here in Escondido, and they're really good, man. They're supportive of all my stuff and my talents. So I do all the listing photos, the listing videos, the promotional videos, all the marketing stuff, and
Sick.
On top of that, they pay me for it.
That's sick.
So they're really homie, you know. They hooked me up with they give me first dibs, and then they also pay me for it. And so that's really how I got started professionally.
Before we did the hot seat, I talked about the other podcast you were on, and something that stuck out to me that you said that I like right off the bat, I was like, oh my god, we're the same person.
Yeah.
Was when you said, I was working a bunch of other jobs and I was working hard at them, but like I was getting nowhere. And I said, if I'm working hard for all these other people, why aren't I working hard for myself?
Yeah.
Do you still have that mindset?
Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah, hell yeah.
What were those other jobs?
I've only had like maybe a handful, like 5. I used to be my first job was working at Firehouse Subs here in Esco. Shout out Firehouse. And then I got into valet, parking cars, and then I got into a serving job, and then I think I worked at Lowe's, and then my last job that I did was Amazon.
Damn. So same thing, just like me, hopped around.
Yeah, I mean, they were all unique jobs. The first one was just to get my foot in the door, you know, get a resume and kind of build your experience. And then I did valet. Valet was a solid job, good tips. I would live off the tips, and then all my paychecks would just go into my savings. But I would work hard, you know. I would be the first one to go grab a car. Same thing with sandwiches. I would be the first one to make a sandwich and shit, just because I was bored, you know. I was like, I'm not just gonna stay here. I'm gonna work, you know. And serving, same thing. I would just serve food, and then on the plus side, I would eat all the food, you know. Let's see, Lowe's is a good job. You just help out people, and then you just mess around on the forklift. And then Amazon, you would just listen to a bunch of music and just deliver packages.
You were a driver?
Yeah, I was a driver. I got paid pretty well too, but the only reason I worked hard for all those is just because, one, I was bored, and then also the one for Amazon is just the harder you work, the sooner you get off, and then, you know, the sooner you go home.
Oh, I always had that question, is like, do you guys have a certain amount of packages you need to do a day, or do you like finish and then have to go back? And
no, for the most part, it's like you finish your packages and then you're done for the day. What kind of pushed me over the edge and what kind of made me quit, which is a good thing, is like I guess with the company that I was with, as soon as you finish your packages, you call into your headquarters or your HQ or whatever, and then they tell you whether you can go home early or not, or if you have to go help out another guy.
Yeah.
And so say you finish at 4, your shift is until 5. You finish at 4, you're like, hell yeah, I got an hour off, you know? You call him like, hey, is it cool to go home? Like, no, go help out Rogelio. He still has like 30 more packages. You're like, what the fuck?
That's on him, bro.
That's on him. Yeah, that's on him. Like, don't put that shit on me. Like, I finished I got my shit together, you know? So then I would drive over to I'd be in Esco, and I'd drive all the way to Mount Carmel. You know, that's already like 15 minutes. And then and then you get off like an hour and a half later, and you're like, dude, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
After that job, I realized that I worked really, really hard in every single one of my jobs. You know, I was always like in a higher position than all of my other peers, and just because of my work ethic. And I was like, you know, if I can work that hard for another person, why not just work that hard for myself? And right before I quit, I would analyze my work schedule. So for Amazon, I would have to be there at 9 a.m. and I'd always get off at 7 p.m. because of that bullshit. Like, you have to go help somebody. I would get off at 7 p.m. and my gym would close at like 10. So I didn't have enough time to go to the gym at night, and I was super tired because I would been delivering all day. So I had to go in the morning. So I had to wake up at 5 in the morning, go to the gym, shower, make my lunch for the day until 7 p.m. And I ate a lot. I had to like cook a lot, and then be at the headquarters at 9. So right before I quit, like for a month, I would analyze my schedule. I'm like, okay, at this time I'm doing this, at this time I'm doing this. So I was like, if I quit and I don't have to be there at 9, is my schedule still going to look like that? And I made sure it did. So when I quit, I would still go to the gym, maybe not as early, 5, maybe like 6, 7, you know? And I would still, and instead of going to the Amazon, I would go to the office, or I would be on my computer editing, you know, like strict schedule. So if you're going to work that hard for somebody else, try working it that hard for yourself, and, you know, differences, you're going to see the difference.
Man.
And it works, man.
Better person than I am. I think I'm getting into the routine of, it's taking me a while to find a routine. But I think the similarities are, I had 3 jobs throughout college. I was a full-time student, 3 jobs. Did you go to college?
Community.
Okay. 2 years?
2 years. 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, so, and that doesn't even matter. I was just wondering. I mean, look at me. I'm a history major. I'm doing this. Yeah, I had 3 jobs throughout college. And then college was over, and I was like, what do I do? Because all I was taught was go to school. And then you said something about how now with your realty team, is that right? Real estate team. Real estate team. Yeah. With your real estate team, they pay you for kind of that extra work that you do. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I used to do that same stuff, the extra work, but I didn't get paid for it. Really? It was like I would do my job on top of that extra stuff, and it was for notoriety. And half the time, my supervisor would get the notoriety because they, in the higher ups' eyes, local government, it was like, hey, supervisor, you led that project, great job. Wow. And it was like, okay, I'll go fuck myself.
Dope, yeah.
Yeah. I was like that little monkey that's like,
yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, okay. So yeah, for people that are listening, like thinking, well, obviously you're getting paid for it. Not all places do that. So that's huge. So you do it for the whole team?
Yeah. So if any team member has a listing, I do it for them at a discounted price. Okay. So yeah, I have a team and they get a discounted price. If any other agent outside, like maybe in Rancho Bernardo or in Mount Carmel or Oceanside, has a listing and they want photos for it, I give them my videographer price. So I'm a videographer and I'm a realtor. But if they want to work with me to do videos, I'm a videographer. You know what I mean?
That's very smart.
And if we're talking and I have a client, I'm also a real estate agent. It's kind of weird, but it works out pretty well. But for my team members, just because they put me on game and they expose me to this whole network of realtors that are out there, they get the best price. And they're my team members, so if they win, I win. You know, if they get more listings, I get more work. If I get more listings, and they get more chances to hold open houses or stuff like that. So it's a team, man. It's a good team. I'm very fortunate to have like found the leader and have him take me under his wing, and and appreciate my skills and pay for them, you know, because not a lot of people have, like you said, not a lot of people have that. A lot of people try to milk you for your talents, and I still have people that hit me up like, hey, I know you're doing good at your team, but come over here and, you know, I'll take you to places and I'll pay you this amount, which is like way less. I'm like, no, bro,
that's all talk.
All talk. Yeah. So super fortunate, man.
Shoot, I was gonna ask you something I completely forgot. God damn it. This is what I was gonna ask. Are they, like your team, are they a little bit younger?
No, they're all older. There's one guy on my team who's like my age. I think he's 23. And then the rest of them are like above 30, so like 34, 30.
That's young.
37.
That's still young.
That's pretty young, but for me, yeah, it's a little bit older.
Because I've seen, and I don't know if you've seen this as well, is in kind of our industry and the competitive industry, the older, I call them the old heads, they have that kind of hoarding mentality where you're talking about like, if my team wins, I win. I always say that, like I'll meet people that are just getting into photography or video, and I'll have like gear laying around, and I'm like, I'll give this to you for whatever you want to pay me. This is how much I paid for it. And they're like, really? Yeah, if you can't afford it, no biggie. And then I see that and I'm not like, hey guys, I'm great, but I see their growth. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? You're actually taking this seriously. Come shoot for me. And they're grateful. And then they start getting more jobs, and they're like, yo, do you want to shoot for me? And then we collaborate. Boom, 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 boom. A lot of the older people are, and I know this because especially during weddings, I'm like, hey, you know, if you need a second, you know, a B shooter, let me know. I'll come out. And they're just kind of like, I already have people that do that. I'm like,
yeah, selfish.
All right, dude. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah. And I'm super petty, and I always make a joke, like, people ask, what's your main goal? Like, you know, just to destroy my enemies. So I'll be like, I'll remember that. I'll remember that. Yeah. So I mean, it's not that I hold a grudge or like I'm a sick person, but it's kind of that
people are who they are. So if they're selfish, remember that. Yeah, remember that. Don't let that go. No more back scratches for them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, and like they lost that privilege.
And especially during weddings, when you have that photographer who's like a dick, and you're like, I'm just trying to do my job, and then they kind of throw you like yo, help me do this, and you're like, nah, bro, I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna go get some water or something. Yeah, go figure it out. You're out of your mind. What else do you shoot? Just real estate?
No, it's predominantly that, just because of what I do. But I do a lot of music videos. I do a lot of event recaps, behind the scenes stuff, interview, like testimonial stuff. Yeah. Everything, man. Everything. I try to do it all, really.
Do you ever get locked in that kind of, I don't want to call it a creative box because that's so cheesy, and don't ever say that, but like just that, I guess, routine when you're like, I've made this video before. Have you hit that yet?
Well, yeah. Well, I did a lot of, when I guess, quote unquote, blew up in the real estate world. I pretty much got brought onto the team, and I did a lot of videos for my team. And so those videos started like kind of popping off, blowing off. Like people would see that, like, who the hell is this guy making the videos for him? Yeah. So everybody started tapping into our leader. Like, hey, who's your videographer? Like, he's really good. Would you mind making a video for us? And those were called About Me. So it's pretty much a realtor. They try to humanize themselves and say like, hey, when I'm not selling real estate, I like to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So I did, dude, I don't even know, like a good amount of those, to the point where I was like, fuck. Yeah. I had the same script for every single one. They each had like different things. Like some of them like to hike, box, play basketball, go swimming, surf, blah, blah, blah. You name it. They're all different in that sense, but in like the structure, they're all the same. So to the end of it, I got really good at it, so I can record it and edit it in one day. Yeah. But at the end of it, I was like, dude, this is fucking boring. Yeah. So that's why I like to do everything. Music videos, just everything, man, because if you stick to one thing, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, you can maybe get some money, but it's just really creatively boring. You don't really push yourself.
And I think us young guys, everyone that I've kind of, and I keep bringing this up, but everyone that I've tried to kind of get mentored from, they're like, pick a niche, get really good at that. You don't want to be a master of none. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to master everything else.
Yeah.
Like I don't consider it it's kind of like a glass half full, half empty.
Yeah.
You're either a jack of all trades or you're like a master of none. I consider myself a jack of all trades. I've done real estate videos, I've done weddings, I've done, and I kind of want to go more towards that wedding side a little bit, but I still want to do the other stuff.
You still want to have that avenue, because that, believe it or not, that helps you with the wedding stuff, being creative,
Yep.
taking shots that were appropriate in this might be appropriate in that too, like in a certain sense,
Exactly.
So that's always going to help you and push you think differently, not so cookie cutter. And that's why I still do those other shoots, because you just learn from it.
Are you a YouTube kid?
Like, I learned everything from YouTube. Yeah, hell yeah,
dude.
Hell yeah.
YouTube is I mean, I feel like it's the new college.
Yeah, I grew up on YouTube, man. Like I mentioned before, like you asked me how I was before, like really, I guess, like how were you younger? I was really timid, unconfident, skinny, all that stuff. So I learned all that from YouTube,
Really?
Workout stuff, self-awareness, stuff like that.
Six-pack abs.
Stuff like, six-pack abs.
Hell yeah, dude.
And now that we're in this field, obviously you learn about gear, you learn about audio settings, lighting settings, all this other stuff. So it's amazing, dude.
Yeah. I started working with, I'm sure people that follow me on Instagram know, his name's Clark Bartram. Big like fitness. I always call him like, he's like the OG influencer.
Oh, yeah.
And he was part of Six-Pack. I think it's Six-Pack Shortcuts.
Yeah.
It was the Asian guy with
with long hair.
And always be like, make sure you and you'd be doing it, and I'm like, that's so cool. So I've learned a lot from him. Do you have any clients or like mentors like that have kind of helped shape you?
With my video stuff? Yeah, man. How I got into videography, I was a realtor at another brokerage, and I was there for like maybe a month or maybe less, and then they hired, because they wanted to step up their media game, they hired a local Oceanside videographer as like their main media department. And so when he got there, he looked around, he saw a bunch of like 30-40-year-olds and shit, and then he saw this little kid. He's like, what's up, dude? Are you an intern or what's up? And I'm like, no, dude, I'm a realtor. And so when I started doing those videos on my phone and bringing them back to my computer and chopping them up, I would post them, and we'd follow each other, but I would post them, and he'd bring it up to me later when he would see me in person. It's like, dude, what the heck? I didn't know you were into editing, stuff like that. And so he really helped me like buy my first DSLR and buy all the gear and stuff like that. Like, he would genuinely help me out with he even shared his contract with me, like the one he sends to clients. And so honestly, like my whole videography is probably due to him or credited to him. But at this point, you have to really learn for yourself, and I've taken it my own path,
Well, you've also taken all his clients, and now he's broken homeless, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Nah, he's killing it too, man. He's killing it. He's still killing it.
There's room for us all.
There is, yeah. That's one thing I learned too. It's like there's always gonna be work. There's no need to be stingy with anything,
Yeah.
There's always gonna be work. Surplus. Always having a mindset of abundance.
That's very true.
Never scarcity.
That's true. And just that famine thinking of like, if whatever he has, like I want, or like you're just always like fiending for things that other people want.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's not. Don't do that. No. Let's get into some. I kind of want to get into some like mental health talk when it comes to working for yourself. Obviously, you're with a team and all that.
Yeah.
Do you ever get in those modes where you're just like, why did I do this? When time kind of slows down and you're like I was just telling you, I was like, yeah, it's kind of slowed down. And those at least for me, those slow moments, I'm like, I'm a loser. I'm like in my head, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What am I, this so-and-so's doing this, and I start comparing myself, and then I'm outside of myself, and all this shit just goes crazy.
Yeah.
Does that ever hit you?
Sometimes, yeah. When I started comparing myself, yeah, a little bit, but then I remember why I started doing it. And then also what also helps for me is I'm not just tied down to one thing, like videography or real estate. Like if I were a realtor and no jobs are coming, I'd be like, fuck, I'm a loser, like all these other guys are getting jobs. I always have one thing going on. Sometimes it's both of them going on,
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, I just made that decision when I was really young that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, always don't be a jack of all trades and have like 7 businesses going on, but choose 1 or 2. I would say actually just 2 really good things that you're really good at, and stick to that. I think I made a pretty good choice in real estate and videography. One, I didn't even know at the time, but they go hand in hand, you know. But real estate, I chose it because I want to invest in real estate myself. When I made that decision at 19. I just wanted to buy real estate. I didn't want to be a realtor. I just wanted to buy real estate, but I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So how was I going to do it? I became a realtor to, one, learn the game from the inside out, and in turn, I'll help out people, I'll get money, and then I can finally buy my first property. And then the videography came after that. You know, I found out I was good with the camera, and I was good with the vision and all that stuff. So now they kind of go hand in hand. So I mean, I guess I never really have like those deep moments where I'm like, fuck, I'm a loser or anything like that, because I always try to make the best out of every single situation, whether it's like I just took a really big hit or, you know, something like that. But I always try to, like, you know, balance both of them.
How'd you get your drive? Because it seems like, I mean, for being a 22-year-old, I'm thinking back now. Here I am comparing myself. I'm thinking back now, and I'm like, what was that like at 22? I mean, I was in college.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's the only thing I had in my mind. I'm going to be a teacher. And that was it. Yeah. How did you get that kind of... I feel like you're hungry. You're a young, hungry guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just growing up poor, man. I grew up poor. I went to San Pasqual, and a lot of the people there were like, you know...
If you live in Escondido, you know about San Pasqual.
Yeah, a lot of people, they live in like Rancho San Pasqual. They're well off. They had a great childhood. Their parents are really good. They have really nice cars going to high school. They have really nice clothes. Yeah. And you're kind of just like, fuck, you know. In high school, I cared about that. I was like, fuck, I don't have the best clothes. I don't have the best car, you know, this and that. And after you grow up, you realize it was because of their parents that they had all that. Mm-hmm. But not really them individually, and, you know, why they had all that stuff. So I was like, when I grow older, I don't want my kids to grow up like that, you know. So I was like, I realized that my parents, you know, came here to America for a better life, and that was a tough job, you know. Crossing the border it's no easy fucking task. No. They risked their lives. So for us, you know, first generation Americans to waste it, that's disrespectful. Yeah. So I was like, screw that shit. There's like a saying, I think it's like Jay-Z said it or something like that, but it's like, that broke shit was whack, I'm never going back. So once you experience like the high luxury life and you get a taste of it, you're like, fuck that broke shit. And I saw that really young. I was like, your life really starts after you graduate high school, because you're in high school, you know, you're mandatory to go to school, you hang out with all your friends, you know. Mm-hmm. Kind of grow like this comfort level. But after that, it's like, it's up to you to figure out what you want. So I realized that at like, I think my junior year, and I was like, after that I was prepping for like life. And so I was like, yeah, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be poor when I grow up. I don't want to be barely scraping by.
Some people don't realize that until like
30, 40.
Yeah, man.
Late 20s or something.
And then especially like, I think that mindset of going to school and getting good grades and going to more school to get more good grades, and then constantly doing that. Yeah. It's damaged us in a way where we don't think that we could do these things, or we can own these things, or we can, or like, I'm sure someone is listening to that, you saying that, and being like, well, that person's not humble or whatever, but it's like, yeah, why would you have that?
I get that a lot too. Yeah. I get that a lot too. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I've learned to like accept that people just don't have that same mindset, and that's okay. There needs to be people that work the 9 to 5s, you know. There needs to be people that are, you know, they're just comfortable, and there's nothing wrong. They're fine living life like that, and that's perfectly fine. If it makes them happy, then it makes them happy. Fine by me, you know. It's not my place to judge them, or to try to uplift them, or try to awaken them, or anything like that, you know. It's really what they want to do. But for me personally, you know, I want something more.
I almost sometimes envy it. Like I kind of miss
me too, yeah.
Going home and just being like, I'm done with work.
Yeah.
You know? Like I'm never done with work. I'll get a text at like 9. Can you shoot my wedding?
You're like, fuck.
Can you send me the contract again? And I'm like, yes. Yeah. I'll send it.
Sometimes I have a lot of work and I'm at the office and I'm kind of just like reflecting on everything, all the shit I have to do. I'm like, fuck. I was like, damn. Sometimes I wish I was just like today, I wish I was just a regular 22 years old where I could just go home and play video games with the boys, smoke weed, whatever, and just relax. Yeah. But I'm like, do I really want to give that up? Do you want to give this up for that? I'm like, yeah, not really. But, you know, it feels nice to just not really care. You know what I mean?
It sure does. I mean, I wouldn't know because I've always cared. But
it's like you're cursed. Yeah.
And then especially when you throw like anxiety in the mix. Like I started waking up early. I don't know why I've been very anxious these past like 2-3 weeks, and I've just been waking up at like 5:30 a.m. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm up, and I'll come in the gym, and one of the owners, Kaylee, will be like, "Oh my God, another early morning," and I'm like, "Yeah," you know, like usually you want to be like, "Yeah, man, let's go," you know, but I'm like, I can't sleep. Shout out, you know, shout out to the anxiety. I'm here. Yeah, and I always joke about like being fueled by that and like coffee and stuff or Celsius, but I mean it's tough, and then it's also just kind of tough. You're lucky you have that team, because I'm on the honestly if it wasn't for Iconic, I would wake up, have breakfast, work out, work, and then work in my room, and then just stay in my room all day. And I remember the pandemic started and people were like, "Oh my God, I haven't seen my friends in forever," and I'm like, welcome to my life. I don't know when my next paycheck's coming. Welcome to my life. I was like, oh, everyone's on the same playing field, dude. Hell yeah. Congrats, you get to work from home. See how depressing it is. How did the pandemic affect you at all?
I lost my valet job, and that's what made me get the Amazon job. But the real estate stuff was always there. I just never, because I wasn't moved out yet. I was still with my parents, you know, no rent, free food, free housing. I was kind of like comfortable. I was like, I still got time. You know, I'm like 19, 20. I'm like, I still got time. Like, these guys are doing it at 34. Like, I got 10 years. Like, I'm straight. But yeah, it just affected me in the sense that I had to get a new job, because I wasn't like, even though I was living there for free, I still wasn't like content living there for free. I needed to make like some money to at least pay for my gas, my food when I go out with my friends or girlfriends or whatever, and not dig into my savings and stuff like that. So that's the only way it affected me. And I guess just making more videos, like pushing myself creatively, not having to be at a certain place, so that gives me more time to do stuff that I like. So then I'd sit down, I'd ask myself, what do I like to do? I like to make videos. All right, what do I want to make a video of? And then I would just think of ideas, write them down, and then, you know, go shoot them. If it involved people like trainers or anything like that, I'd be like, hey, are you down to do a video for free? Obviously. And then just go do it, and then try my hand at, you know, making videos of that.
That is as easy as it is. Like, it's hard. I mean, once you start doing it, it's hard, and then you see your work and you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought I was going to be. But to just kind of write something down and write those goals and be like, I'm going to blah, 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 or I want to do this. How do I do it? I think also people, I mean, I'm 26, I'm a little older, but people in their 20s, even up to their 30s, don't have that, like, I'm going to do it. They just think, yeah, I'll do it. You know, and there's that insecurity of like, yeah, but also.
One thing I did notice when I was in high school, life was fucking easy, man. Like, believe it or not, beautiful. It was easy, man. You had all the time in the world. You had all the energy. You had the support from your parents, and like if you ever needed money, maybe they would hook it up. At least my parents would give me like $20 or something. I felt bad, but I was like, fuck it. Dude. But as one thing I realized, I think I was 18. I was like, okay, life is so easy. If I keep this same mindset forever, like life is a breeze. But as I got older, as you start taking on like more debt, and not just money debt, but like people debt. Like if you get a girlfriend for say, like you have to take care of her. You know, I have to give her attention. You have to talk to her. You know, you have to, you know, and not just like okay, I'll talk to you for 40 minutes. What's up? But just actually like have a human connection, conversation, stuff like that. That takes time, you know. That takes energy. And in turn, if you don't have that, you know, you could be working on your edits, or you could be working out or stuff like that. People take out loans of cars, people buy new cars, people buy houses, you know, and all that stuff takes time out of your day of what you want to do. So at 18, you have none of that. Maybe you have a girlfriend or something, but that's like young love. But you don't really have anything that's like, quote unquote, holding you down or holding you back or holding you, like, you know, holding you back from doing the things that you want to do, like jobs and stuff like that. So I think that's one thing that I noticed. As I got older, I would take on more responsibilities, you know, girlfriends, jobs. I never really got a new car off the lot. I just paid everything used. I just tried to minimize everything. And as I got older, I was like, okay, this is getting a little bit more tough. It wasn't as like easy as I was before. It is, if you break it down to the bare minimum and you see it for what it is. Yes, you can manage it, but you also still have to manage other people's expectations and their perspectives on lives, because it's not as easy as the way you look at it also.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that's why like people at like 28 or 30 or even older still kind of like have trouble doing that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to break out of that cycle. It is.
I mean, even I do it.
I do it too. Yeah, I do too. I'm no freaking angel.
Yeah. Do you have a girlfriend right
now? I do. Yeah.
How's that going?
It's good, man. It's good. After learning the perspective and building that foundation first, then applying that, it's a little tough. It's a new challenge. Yeah. It's a tough, but it's still good. Like our relationship is solid.
That's good.
Solid, yeah.
Hell yeah.
But that's because you make it solid.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially in this kind of unstable life of, I mean, you have kind of real estate. You have things that fill in those gaps and all that, but when it comes to like me and having that instability, I'm always like on edge. I'm like, I gotta find my other job. I gotta find my next job. I gotta, you know, and then I might have like a month off, and then the next month is just like jam packed, and you have to constantly tell your significant other, hey, you know, I thought I could hang out today, but I can't. Have you had troubles with that, or has it been?
Yeah, and you have to just go back to like the foundation. Like, hey, listen, like, you know, or I know that, you know, none of this is stable. Like, even if it is as stable as it can get with real estate, it still is a volatile like field. You know, you never know when your next video is gonna come up. If you're gonna have a dry month or a really heavy month. Same thing with real estate. So it's like, you never really know. You try to make it the best you can, but you also just be honest, be communicative. You've had those troubles where like, oh, sorry, babe, you know, but yeah, I mean, everybody, you can't like avoid those.
Yeah. I mean,
I know how you feel, bro. I know how you feel.
No, I've come to learn, because I'm a pretty selfish person, not gonna lie, and I am like,
me too, man.
Yeah, like I'm like me and also me, especially with this, it's like I'm trying to build a foundation for my life and blah blah blah, and I used to come at it that way, which got me in trouble, you know, with other girlfriends. I mean, currently I'm same thing. It's pretty stable, and I think if the other person isn't toxic, I know that word is used a lot, but they're pretty understanding. If you tell them, yo, I'm gonna have a heavy week, or like me with like my kind of mental craziness, I don't even know what to call it anymore.
Everybody's different, man. I think I relate to you a lot, man. I know how it can be to be like, only you know what's going on in your head, and you can't really portray that to other people, because then maybe they might think of you differently or something like that. But as long as you find someone that understands that and can respect it, even as crazy as it can be, always try to be communicative, and you know, things will happen. Things will happen.
It's as simple as that one text, like, yo, I'm just not feeling it today. Can I text you later?
Yeah.
Sure.
There you go.
Boom.
And then they know, like, oh, he's not feeling it, gives us space. In the meantime, I'm gonna go hang out with my sister, or cook, or go work out or something.
Cook or clean, or right.
And then
that's terrible.
Make a sandwich. No, okay.
No, we're good guys. We don't want to. Don't cancel us, dude.
Don't cancel us. Sorry. I think it's all about communication. But I think you're good, man. Just what I tell my other friend, I think he's the type of person that always overthinks things and like is always in his head and is always trying to find the next move. I'm like, listen, man, just relax, really just take a deep breath, and, you know, just kind of don't think about it, you know?
Just live in the moment, man.
Live in the moment, relax, and just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Later when it comes up, then address it. But like right now, you're just psyching yourself out.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Honestly, this conversation was refreshing. I'm a little rusty, I'm not gonna lie.
I am too, man. I am too.
With conversation. I haven't talked to someone else in a long time. No, I haven't done a podcast in a while, like I said. I want to thank you for being on. Where can people find you on social media or all that?
For my videography stuff, you can find me at real.jesus _ for my real estate stuff. You can find me at jesus.salazar _ re. I'm mostly active on my videography page just because it's what I like to do, you know, and sometimes I'll throw in a video or two to real estate stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me on that. You can find me what I'm up to.
Dude's talented. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you so much for being on. We finally made the time to do it.
Yeah, man.
I don't know when this one's gonna come out, but yeah, I'll figure it out.
Whenever you have time, man. Whenever you have time.
I'll let you know. I want to have like I don't like to take breaks. I don't like to like be dodgy and stuff. I hate that. Like I hate flakiness.
Yeah, me too.
This break that I've taken, I'm already like I'm itching to like get back.
Over
but then,
it, yeah.
Yeah, but then also like I felt like I almost felt like I was exploiting people for a while because I would sit down with these people and they would tell me these deep ass stories for the podcast, and then we just like both go our separate ways, and it was like I don't know. I felt like I was talking to people for their stories, and after a while I was like, oh my god, I'm an asshole. I know that's not the case.
What do you mean though? Like you were just like, you just made it for the content or something?
That's how it felt.
Oh, okay.
That is not my intention. I'm not trying to like ever do that.
Yeah, no,
and
of course.
I even talked to a lot of my guests. I was like, hey, you know, how have you been? Do you feel like you were like taken advantage of? They're like, no, what? No, I'm glad I got my story out there. And I had to kind of do that for a while because I was just like, I don't know. I told my girlfriend this too. I was like, dude, I feel like I'm like, I don't want to be a person that just does it for the content.
Yeah.
Like this isn't why I started this. And every week it kind of felt like I was rushing to find someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, people would reach out to me and be like, yes, come on, sure, talk about your dead dad, or you know, whatever. Something like that. And some of these episodes would get so deep and people loved them and stuff, but at the end of the day, like I just didn't want to be that for the content person.
Well, you got to think about it too, man. It's also your life, it's your time, and you're technically a one-man band, you know. For the other podcast that I was on, it was two people. For the most part, to be honest, one guy really takes care of like finding everybody, just like you are.
Right.
But at least he has like that other guy that can maybe edit the stuff and stuff like that, you know. So what I would do for you is also, so you don't stress yourself out, do it not once a week. I don't know how often you do it.
I used to do it once a week.
Do it twice a month.
Yeah.
So 1 week on, 1 week off. It gives you more time to find quality people.
Yeah.
Edit the podcast. You know, edit those motherfuckers because they take time, you know?
Yeah, they do.
And really kind of hone down on your questions, work on the interview stuff, work on the other things about it. And then also it gives you more time to edit other client videos, you know, stuff that are paid.
Yeah.
So one thing that I started doing is like work less, get paid more. So before I would start to get burned out, I would take projects like $100, $200, and I would say yes to everything. I'd get 4 gigs in 1 week,
right?
Every week, and I'd be like, "Fuck, this is a lot of work." And I started real estate on top. I get burnt out quick, so I was like, "Why would I do 4 $200 projects where I can just do one $800 project?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, it's cake."
Yeah, I noticed that last year.
So yeah, I just start implementing that. You know, get more people that are just more quality. Do a little bit more research and stuff like that.
Yeah,
take time too.
Also, like people have been saying, like, "Oh, do seasons." I'm like, I don't hate that. Like, just do like season 1, I have 6 guests or something. Season 2, I have this many guests.
Yeah.
Again, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I started with 2 episodes a week, and that was rough. That was rough, dude.
That's crazy, man.
And then I did that for like 2 months, and then I went to 1 episode a week, and then I just kind of was like spinning my wheels, and I was like, I gotta take a break. But anyway, I was closing this out, and then I went on another tangent.
My bad.
No, you're good. Thanks for the advice, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
You can find me at Mayorka Media. That's MAYORCAMEDIA. If you're looking to get married and want a videographer and photographer, hit me up. I got a team building. You never know. You might see this guy at a wedding, or a celebration of life.
True.
Thanks so much for listening. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Peace.